Welcome to More Systems, Less Hustle. I'm Elizabeth Palermo. If you're tired of being told to work harder, post more, lower your prices, and sacrifice your time to grow your business, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll talk about lead generation, marketing, AI, automation, sales systems, and the strategies that help business owners grow smarter, not busier. Because the goal isn't to build a business that takes over your life. It's to build one that gives you more freedom, more time, and more opportunities to enjoy the life you're working so hard to create. Let's dive in. Welcome back to More Systems, Less Hustle. If you've listened to the first two episodes, we've talked about why more businesses don't have a lead problem and why working harder is not the answer. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's completely changed the way I look at business. That's the idea of building an AI employee. Now, when I say an AI employee, I'm not talking about a futuristic robot that's coming into your house or your business. I'm not talking about replacing your team either. I know a lot of business owners immediately hear AI. They feel a little nervous about it. They don't want to lose that personal touch or replace anybody on their team. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about creating systems that handle your repetitive work so that you can spend more time doing the things that only you can do. Because here's what I started noticing. Most small business owners wear hats of everybody, right? They're the salesperson, they're the customer service representative, they're the marketing department, the operations manager, the scheduler, the bookkeeper, the follow-up person. They are trying to do everything themselves. And eventually they hit a ceiling. Okay? It's not because they're not capable. They certainly can do all of these things. And most business owners and entrepreneurs learn to do all of the things, and they're trying to do all of the things, especially starting out. I know when I talk to business owners, a lot of them are like, I built my own website. I'm doing my own social media posting. I'm trying to learn how to create sales funnels. I'm trying to run my own ads. I'm also trying to manage my entire business and answer the phones and call people back and handle invoices. They're trying to do everything. And even though they're capable, it's not always the best way to handle things. It's usually not the best way to handle things. But it's because there's only so many hours in the day, right? There's only 24 hours in a day. So I realize this myself. I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I run businesses, and I quickly learned that I wasn't going to outwork everybody. I wasn't going to outwork most people. I have a lot going on, and most of you do too. So what I needed wasn't to work harder, I needed leverage. And that's when I started exploring AI and automation, and I absolutely love systems. So what I discovered was that most businesses aren't losing money because of lack of opportunities. There are so many opportunities out there. They're losing money because they're dropping the ball on the simple tasks. These are things like the missed phone calls. They're taking too long to respond. Roofers, especially, they're out on the job all the time. Realtors, they're not answering their phone immediately. They're missing those calls, and then somebody goes to the next person and they call them. And that person doesn't answer, and then the next person does. And that's who they go with. So you're missing phone calls. You're taking too long to respond. You maybe take 3 days to respond back to somebody. They're not going to take you seriously. They say, never mind, I found somebody else. Or they, change their mind. You're forgetting to follow up. Most people don't purchase the very first time they talk to you. I wish it was that way. I wish it was that easy. Wouldn't that be great? But most people need a couple follow-ups, a lot of touch points, because you know what it takes? It takes them to like you, trust you, and also them willing to, like, the right timing. They don't always need what you need right then and there. Maybe it's something like if you own a pool business and they're thinking, well, maybe like next year I'm going to put in a pool. So right now I'm kind of just shopping around and getting some like quotes so I can see what to start saving for and like plan for. So if you're not following up with those people, a year from now, the businesses who have been following up, who've been keeping in contact, they're the ones that customer has in mind, and they're more likely to go with that person instead of you. Following up is important. They're forgetting to answer common questions. They're letting website visitors leave without taking action. I don't know how many business owners have no idea if anyone's even going to their website because they're not looking at the data and they have nothing in place to capture those leads. If you don't have something in place to capture leads of people who are coming to your website or a chatbot that they can talk to on there so that you know who's coming to your website, you are missing out on opportunity. You're missing out on leads that you are already paying for. So there's no need to pay extra for those. So those are the exact types of things that AI can help you with. So it's not that you need to replace or let go of any employees. These are things that can just help you scale more, grow more, and handle things faster. So for example, imagine if somebody visits your website, it's 9:30 at night. Okay, you're asleep, your office is closed, nobody's in the office anymore, so you don't have to fire the person who's working the front desk. They can still keep working during the day, but what about the after hours? What about the weekends? That is a potential customer that has a question, and most websites simply let that person leave. The person goes on, they're like, oh, there's nothing here, so then the person just leaves. If you had an AI assistant on that website that had been trained to answer your FAQs or that could request to book an appointment with you, then their answers could be answered immediately, and they can collect you can collect their contact information. They could even book appointments straight to your calendar. So it helps the conversation keep moving, and it lets you capture who's interested in your business without losing them on the nights and the weekends. Or also imagine if someone calls your business while you're working with a customer. I gave this example already, the roofers and the real estate agents. So you miss the call. What usually happens? Nothing. Maybe it goes right to your voicemail. You're like, oh, I'll call them back later when I'm free. But then you forget to call them back. Maybe you do, but sometimes you forget, or maybe it takes till the end of the day or the following day. But if you had an AI-powered missed call text back system, it can immediately send them a message saying something like, sorry, we missed your call. How can I help you? Or, sorry, I'm with a client right now. Do you mind if I call you back in a little bit? And then it notifies you to remind you to call that person back immediately. But now that person has an immediate response from you. So they don't think that they're just being ignored. Now they're like, okay, they responded. Yes, that's fine. I can wait and we'll touch base. So instead of losing that opportunity, you've now started a conversation. Another example is a follow-up. This is where most businesses leak money. So a lead comes in, the business owner responds to them once, maybe twice if you're good, and then they give up. They're like, oh, the person's not interested, move on. But most customers just aren't ready immediately. So again, with that pool example, maybe they're waiting a year, maybe even 2 years. They need reminders. They need to trust you. And they need the time. Even something as simple as I also have a jewelry business. So people don't want to purchase their jewelry immediately. It's cremation, ash, and breast milk jewelry. So it's something, that's important to them, a keepsake type item. And they want really time to think about what they really want. So if I didn't have systems in place to automatically follow up with them every month or so, they forget, they look on other websites, they maybe shop around. Keeping those customers and clients in the forefront of their mind is vital. So AI can follow up automatically through text, through emails, and you don't have to remember every conversation. It can do it for you. So Now you have a system set up where it's constantly sending these reminders, these emails, these texts. You don't have to remember, who did I follow up with? Who did I not follow up with? How often do I need to do it? The system does it for you. So imagine what that can just do for your business now. What can that do for your mindset? What can that do to free up your time? So I also want to talk to you about what AI should not do, because this is where a lot of people, I think, get nervous. And AI isn't there to replace relationships. That's definitely not what it needs to be doing, because I know personally, if the car dealership, for example, where I get my oil changed, they had adopted a new AI answering phone system. And I'd call just to schedule an appointment, and it just kept going in these cycles, and I couldn't get through. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to talk to somebody. I need a person. AI is not replacing those relationships. It shouldn't replace trust, and it shouldn't replace expertise. AI is not replacing being human. You still need to be human to connect with people, especially things like, my jewelry business, where people are creating a keepsake for a loved one that they've lost or a pet that they've lost, and it means something real, very valuable to them. They don't want to talk to a robot. They don't want to talk to AI. They want somebody who can understand and relate to them. So AI should never replace the human aspect of your business. Okay? Your customers want to work with real people. So AI should only be replacing those repetitive tasks, the follow-ups, the emails, the texts and the phone calls when you can't answer immediately, booking appointments. How many people ask you the same question over and over again? Let AI handle that. You shouldn't be answering the 100th question for the same time. Sending those appointment reminders. Maybe you don't have a high... or there's a lot of people who forget their appointments. You should have a system in place so when they book an appointment, it reminds them the day before, maybe 48 hours before, the day before, and then maybe an hour before. So you can remind them through phone, text, and email about their appointment, and it can collect their information. It can schedule those calls. And then immediately after their appointment, it should be asking for a review. Build those reviews on Google. That's not something that you need to be doing. That's a task that AI can handle. So all of those things are very time consuming, and they can drain a lot of mental energy of trying to remember who to follow up with. And that's something that AI can just handle for you. So one of the biggest mindset shifts I've had in this is that every time you do something manually, you should be asking yourself, could a system do this instead? Could a system do this instead? Because systems are going to make your life easier, and they're going to scale your business. And it's not because you're lazy, it's because your time is valuable. If you're spending 2 hours a day on repetitive tasks, that's 10 hours a week. That's over 500 hours a year. Imagine what you could be doing with that time instead. You could be spending more time with your family. You could be serving your customers better. You could be growing your business. You could just have some breathing room so you're not feeling overwhelmed and stressed out all the time. That's the power of leverage. And that's exactly what this episode was about. AI is not magic. It's not a shortcut to success. It's not going to build your business for you. But it can remove the friction, it can eliminate some of that repetitive work, and it can help you scale without immediately hiring more people, which are very costly. So for small business owners, this is incredibly powerful. So your challenge this week is to make a list of the 10 most repetitive tasks that you perform in your business. So get your paper and pen and write those down. What repetitive tasks do you do in your business? Every week, every month. The things that you do over and over again, then ask yourself, can this be automated? Can this be delegated? Can AI help with this? You don't have to solve everything at once. So start with one thing. What's one repetitive task that you have? One process, one bottleneck. That's how you build systems. Those small improvements that you make in your business are going to compound over time. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. In the next episode, we're going to talk about why your website is probably costing you customers and what a website should actually be doing if you want it to generate revenue for your business. I'll see you there. Thanks for listening to More Systems, Less Hustle. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another business owner who could benefit from it. Remember, success isn't about working harder, it's about building better systems. I'll see you in the next episode.